Hello and good morning. I hope you are having an awesome week so far. As always, it's Wednesday and it is time to jump into our training for this week. So let's jump in. So today we're going to talk about how to thrive in a constricting market. And we're going to look at how we can unlock those secrets to generating more cash flow for your business. My name is Carrie Postal. I have the privilege of owning Abacus Business Solutions, and we have been helping construction-based businesses and service-based businesses for over 10 years, helping them to know, understand, and trust their numbers. So before I get started, I want to clarify here, what is a constricting market? Because it can happen at any time, not just in an economic downturn. So what we're talking about is when the market is becoming increasingly narrow or limited, and that could be in terms of size or scope or opportunities for growth in general. There might be fewer buyers, sellers, or products, which then results in increased competition and potentially reduced profitability for businesses that are operating within that market. So there's lots of different areas that can bring you to this point. So this can be caused by changes in consumer preferences. Economic downturns is definitely one, increased regulation, or just new technology coming out, new competitors coming out that are just changing up the market. So when this happens, what do? This is when you have to adapt your strategies to survive and thrive in this market. And that might be by exploring new markets or diversifying your offerings. So you can't just, see changes and then keep running with it, hoping it's going to be okay. You have to adapt and you have to do something to be able to turn that around. So in construction, business owners may believe that your 5% profit is enough. And if that's you, let me explain why it might not be. When the market is becoming increasingly narrow and operating costs are increasing, your competition may become more intense. This takes away from your profit if your costs increase and your revenue does not. So it's up to you to keep listening to this, and I'll share how we can help to force cash flow in a constricted market and choose what's best for your business. So there is that opportunity to be able to increase that profitability. So let's jump in. There are several strategies that a company can implement to improve cash flow in this type of environment. So firstly, you can increase operational efficiency. So optimize your operations. Take a really good hard look as to how your business operates. Are you working as efficiently as possible? Can you increase that productivity? Is there any way you can reduce costs? It's so easy just to keep operating your business on that day-to-day basis, paying the same costs and not ever looking back and saying, okay, can we do something differently? Can we do this more efficiently? Do we still need this cost? Is it helping us? And then streamline your process. With the new technology coming out all the time. Gosh, my words are not happening this morning. There's new opportunities where you can streamline how you actually do something. So the way you did something 2 years ago may have been the best way then, but today it might be different. So you want to be able to just keep generating more cash flow from what you already have. Next, you want to focus on your products or your services with those high profit margins, as they can generate more cash flow. So take a really good hard look at your products, at your services, look at the profitability of each one, and then determine if maybe one of those products or services shouldn't be a product or service for you. Maybe it's just something that is not working right now, and you need to focus your time and efforts onto that product or service that is generating more profit and therefore generating more cash flow. So just because you've offered the same products and the same services year after year after year doesn't mean it's necessarily the right one or the right service to keep offering. Things change and you have to evolve with that. So one thing we have talked about before is diversifying revenue streams. Look to new markets, maybe develop new products and new services. What are your team hearing in the market about what clients, customers are looking for? What is it that they are searching for that maybe you can then create and develop to answer that need? Maybe you need to look into a partnership to diversify your revenue streams as well. So you want to get away from not relying on a single market or product, because once that market, that demand for that product or service goes down, then you're in trouble. So you want to make sure you have that diversification. Tighten up your credit policies. So you want to make sure that your customers are paying on time, because that's really going to impact your cash flow if you aren't getting payment on time. So you want to make sure you're reducing the risk of late payments and just really getting your customers to pay when the invoice is due. And if they aren't paying, then who is responsible for calling that customer and chasing up on payment? So it's not one of those things where you just wait and you wait and you wait and hope the customer's going to pay next week. You really have to be one step ahead, making sure you can see who's coming up for payment, and then making sure that payment's coming in, and then following up if it doesn't. And then, of course, marketing efforts. So you need to make sure that you are, targeting your specific customer segment. Don't be just doing generalized marketing. You want to make sure you're talking to your customer, that when they hear your advertising, it resonates with them, and they just, they know this is a product or service that they need. So you want to be able to, increase your marketing efforts, and then in turn increase that demand for your product or service. But it's communication. It's getting that message out to your potential clients. So this is a question that often gets asked, is why would customers need a business more than ever in a constricted market? So here are 4 key reasons. So value proposition. Customers are looking for value in every single purchase that they make. In a constricting market, they might be more price sensitive than usual. And if a business can offer a really compelling value proposition, such as a high quality product or service at a competitive price, the customer is more likely to choose that business over its competitors. So it comes down to that value, and that's something we talk about a lot too. Trust and credibility. I mean, customers may seek out businesses that they trust, they have a good reputation, that somebody is referring them to that business. And when a business has that track record of delivering quality products and quality services, that they're being transparent, they're honest, they have great communication, then that builds trust and it builds credibility. And then you're going to start getting referrals from existing or previous clients that would say, hey, you have to go and purchase from this company, or go and use the service from this company. Thirdly, convenience and accessibility. So customers may be more time or maybe resource constrained, and that may value convenience and accessibility more than ever. Look at how we run our businesses and our lives today. Convenience is a huge aspect. So a business that can offer easy ordering, easy delivery, great customer service, flexible payment options, you're going to attract and then retain those customers. And then finally, innovation and adaptability. So markets are changing, and customers are looking for businesses that are innovative, adaptable into their changing needs. And so you have to be able to pivot quickly as needed. Think about when COVID hit. A lot of businesses just changed their business model, the way they did things, to be able to stay in business, to keep generating revenue. And that was a perfect example of a time when businesses had to think outside the box. They had to think of a different way of doing that. And just because we're not in a pandemic anymore and we're not dealing with everything we were dealing with 3 years ago, doesn't mean you stop thinking like that. Still think out of the box, still think differently, try and stay one step ahead of what is going on, and develop those new products and services, adapt to new technologies that are out there. Don't be afraid of using the technology because there's a fear of your staff having to learn new software. If it's an opportunity where you can increase your profitability and generate cash flow and increase revenue, then it's something that you need to think about. So in summary, you need to be creative. You need to be adaptable to be able to increase and generate cash flow. You have to be able to offer the value, the trust, convenience, innovation, and to become more appealing to customers than ever before so that you can thrive in this market. And then when you implement these and other strategies, a company can really improve its financial performance and position itself then for the long-term success. So if any of these strategies, piqued your interest, if that was something that you want to discuss more, and you don't have a team currently to support you, then leave me a comment down below just saying, tell me more, and I'll reach out to you, get you on my calendar, and then we can have a conversation to see how we can help you and support you in your business. And don't forget, if you have a business friend or family friend that has a business, then please share this training with them as well, and encourage them to follow our page for our weekly trainings. So it was a lot of information, so you might need to go back and watch that one again with your pen and paper, but really think about what you need to do to take your business to the next level. Have a great day.